I think these were the ones that people found the toughest. So I'm going to walk you through piece by piece, and then I'll pause and erase everything so that all the old work is gone so you can follow through. Let's look at number 13, and it says 8 meters per day is equal to how many meters per minute. Now the beautiful thing about this one is that it's already in meters, meters and meters, so we don't have to change anything there. But we do have to go days to minutes. So I'm going to write this out how you will see it when you this is how you would see it in science. They do something called unit conversion. So I'm just going to write things like this, and what I've got is 180 meters, and that's in 1 day. But I don't want to have days, I want to have minutes. So I've got to figure out, how do I get from days to minutes? So what I know, see how days is down on the bottom here? I'm going to get something so that it cancels out, and I'm going to have 1 day up here, because look, it's just like a fraction, they cancel out. But I need to know 1 day equals how many minutes. Well, let's figure that out. I know that 1 day is 24 hours, and 24 hours, each of those 24 hours has 60 minutes in it. So that means in 1 full day, I've got, multiply that out, 1,440 minutes in that whole day. So some people would just say, okay, I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to divide by 24, divide by 60. That's a great idea. I'm going to put them together first and say that I'm going to have 180 divided by 1,440, and that's minutes. So do you see how the days went away and I ended up with minutes? So I've got to pull out my calculator, and what this means is I'm going to do 180, and because the 1,440 is on the bottom, I'm going to divide it by that. So go put that into your calculator, see what you get. Yeah, when you do it, you get 0.125. So that's what you write up in here. Don't round it to 0.13, just put in the 0.125. All right, there we go with that one. So let's get ready to move on to the next. All right, this next one is more complicated because we've got 45 yards per minute, and we want to get into inches per second. So I'm always going to deal with the first label that I see. So let's get from yards to minutes. So I've got 45 yards in minutes, 1 minute. I've got to get that, I'm going to get the yards over into inches first. So let's see. If I want to go from yards to inches, I think, yards are a big thing, and then inches, there's a ton of inches in there, so it's going to be a multiply problem. So right down here, see how I've got yards up here? I'm going to put 1 yard down here so that my yards cancel out. And then I want to think, okay, how many inches are in a yard? Well, gosh, I don't know again. But I know that there's 3 feet in a yard, and there's 12 inches in a foot. So there must be 36 inches in 1 yard. So I'm going to write that up here. The 1 yard equals 36 inches. Great. So I'm going to kind of go there, and we're going to stop for a second. And so the 45 and 36 are on the top. That means we're going to multiply them. So when you multiply them, you're going to get this big, big number. I want you to find what that number is and write it down. Got it. It's 1,620. So that is, now we're in inches, but do you see on the bottom I've still got minutes? Okay, so now we're going to go minutes to seconds. Well, if I've got a whole bunch of minutes and I want to go to seconds, my number is going to have to shrink because I don't get as far in a second as I would in a minute. So do you see how minute is on the bottom? I'm going to write 1 minute up here because I want these two to cancel out. And then I think, okay, how many seconds are there in a minute? There's 60. So you might have said, well, I just know that because it's 60 seconds, I would divide. awesome. If you can just make that switch in your brain and see that with your math sense, I love it. Then you should just do 1,620 divided by 60. I'm just giving you this little chart here so that your parents can see where we're going, or for some of you, your brain will latch onto this a little bit better. So now I do 1,620 divided by 60, and that's going to give me how many inches I get to go per second. So you do that one. I'm actually not going to put the answer on here because I want you to do it yourself, but it is a whole number. So you find that, push pause, and then we'll go on to 17. All right, number 17. It says I've got 15 kilograms per minute, and I've got to get to grams per second. So let's take care of the top first, kilograms and grams. So I'm going to write this out. I've got 15 kilograms. It's in 1 minute right now, and I want to take care of this kilograms. So I look back into my notes, and I see that I've got this little chart. Kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, and then here's my gram right in the middle. Then I've got deci, centi, and milli. So I want to go right here. I'm at kilograms, and I've got to get to grams. So times 10, 100, 1,000. So there are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So when I multiply by 1,000, you can do that in your calculator, or you could just move over your decimal point. So here's what I see. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. Look at kilograms cancel out. That's my whole point. That's how I see that I multiply. You might have seen it right away. Hey, I just multiply. And so I get 15,000 grams. Now that's a really big number, but I'm not done yet, because now that I've taken care of the top, I've gotten it into grams, now I've got to take and get from minutes to seconds. So I think, all right, a whole bunch of maybe water's coming out in a minute. Is more going to come out in a second or less in a second? Yeah, less will come out in a second, because second is just like done, and so you don't get as much time. So we're going to divide down. So I've got my 1 minute right here. So here's what I know. I know in 1 minute, I'm going to write the 1 minute up here, because look at, they cancel out. I've got 60 seconds. And so intuition, we knew that we should divide by 60. This little chart just proves it to you. So you've got your 15,000. You divide by 60. Go do that in your calculator. Again, I'm not going to give you the number because I want you to actually do the work yourself. But you can find that, put it in, and away we go. Then you can stop back. If you need another video, great. Otherwise, maybe you can just do 14, 16, and 18 on your own.